Number 2, enthusiasm to be compassionate. Ask yourself a question. Do I have to help somebody today? And if the answer is yes, and you positively work towards it, no disease will come anywhere near you. Paropakarartham idam shariram. Did you get the message? So you must, at least by the time you go to bed, you should be able to audit your work and say, I have removed one tear from somebody's face today. I have helped somebody. It may be a small thing. Somebody might have met with an accident on the road. Just go and help. Somebody might need a smile in the evening. Just give a smile, free smile. The more you give, the more you become richer. See, money if you give, you will become poorer. But smile if you give, you become richer. Do you know why you should smile? A child, which is absolutely innocent like God, smiles on an average 500 to 1,000 times in 24 hours. How many times? And if you study the heart of a child, it is so healthy because the child breathes in, the heart goes faster. The child breathes out, the heart goes slower. So heart is so irregular, absolutely irregular, which we doctors in our ignorance call as sinus arrhythmia. Actually, it is a normal rhythm. We call it as arrhythmia. This is the healthiest heart. A heart which has got sinus arrhythmia, which is called heart rate variability or HRV. As you grow older and you become, and become a big man, bigger bigger woman, and the biggest woman, you must see some of these people, when you travel, it's a fascinating book to read. Some of them you must see the way. I'll tell you one instance, for example. There was this chairman of a bank, and we happened to be traveling in the same. I didn't know he was a chairman. We were in the same plane. It was rainy season. Bombay was flooded, so they diverted our plane to Hyderabad. So we landed in Hyderabad airport. There were 25 aircraft landed there from Bombay and nearby flooded areas. So Hyderabad those days was a small aircraft, Begumpet airport. And they didn't even have sandwiches. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We didn't have lunch. And everybody was hungry. And those poor girls, there were 2 girls in Jet Airways counter. They were really working like dogs, running around the place, trying to. Suddenly this man appears on the counter. I was standing there. He said, do you know who I am? The girl was shivering in a pants. She almost had tears in her eyes. I am the chairman of a bank. I've got a very important meeting at 4 o'clock in Delhi. I must be in Delhi at 4 o'clock. So the girl said, sir, we have only one flight to Delhi at 5 o'clock and we have booked that flight completely. Now that you all come from Bombay and you are not going back to Bombay today, we have got to send somebody. I have only 2 seats, sir. Yes, the one must come to me because my meeting is very important. So the girl said, I'll try, sir. There are so many others who have come before you. I will try, sir. You can't try. Do you know who I am? And where is my lunch? Poor girl said, sir, we don't have any lunch facility here. We have asked our restaurant in the town to send us lunch. You'll please wait, we'll give you. Do you know if I call somebody in a minute, I can go to a 5-star hotel, have my lunch and come back? And this girl started crying. What can she do? So I went to this man. He was a Sardarji. I went to him, tapped him on the back. I said, sir, you are a very important man. Yes. But today, see, these girls are not responsible for the plane coming here. And they never anticipated the plane to come here. Imagine there are about 500 people here wanting lunch. And this poor thing has only 2 sandwiches for herself and her colleague. If you want, I can ask her to give those 2 sandwiches to you. I will request her. They can eat later. He said, no. I can go. I said, why don't you call your general manager or somebody in Hyderabad and go and have a nice lunch? After all, till 5 o'clock, there is no flight out of this airport. And nobody is going. You come back, and if you are going, you will go. So he said, I see. Okay. He said. Then he made a phone call. Somebody came and he went. After he went, everybody in the airport was so fed up with these fellows, kicking around his importance in the airport. After all, he can be the chairman of a bank and he can be the prime minister of the country. What does it matter? He is still a human being. There's a nice saying in English. Whoever you are, you sit on the same ass that you were sitting even before you became who you are. What is it? What is the difference? And the girls were struggling, and each one of us had some sandwich, and each one of us had something to drink. By the time it was about 4 o'clock, And these girls were so tired, I tell you, you should have looked at those girls. So I went to that girl and said, young lady, did you eat something? She burst out crying. Sir, nobody asked that. I have not had anything. I said, no, you must have something. I will sit in the counter and answer questions. Both of you go and get the sandwich and eat and come back. Can't you just help? They are human beings. After all, she didn't invite the rain in Bombay. And if your meeting is at 4 o'clock, the meeting can always get postponed. What's the big thing about it? I'm sure that Sardarji's blood pressure must have been hitting the roof when he was talking to the girl. I told him, your blood pressure will come down if you go and have lunch and not talk to this girl. This kind of people are there. Now, all this is the cause of ill health. This is what I'm trying to tell you. What is the most important cause of ill health, do you know, in this world? Money. Have you seen money? Money is the first important cause of ill health. I'll give you a story, not a story, a study. There are these people called Innus. Innus are a group of aboriginals living in a group of islands off the coast of Saskatchewan in Canada. And Innus are aboriginal races. They have no touch with so-called civilization that you and I talk about. And they have their records on leaves and rocks, inscriptions. And if you read them, Innus had no illness at all. No illness at all. Only two causes of death: old age and predation. Some tiger eating them, or old age. Now, 1752, a company came from mainland Canada to start a business in Innuland called Williams Company. Their barter trade. So they came and told the Innus, you give your hide that you're hunting, we will give you biscuit, we'll give you soap, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you noodles, Maggi, and things like that. So then started the problem. To cut the long story short, today every Innu is a Canadian citizen with all the facilities a Caucasian Canadian has got. The difference is every Innu has got every conceivable disease from common cold to cancer, 10 years precautious to Caucasian Canadians. If Canadians get a heart attack in the 5th decade, Innus today get in the 4th decade. If Canadians get diabetes in the 3rd decade, Innus get in the 2nd decade. Now what has happened to Innus? Only one thing changed. Money came into their life. You know how money changes? Money makes you sell your soul. Did you know that? 1802, England had the first industry. It's called the Industrial Revolution. And there was this romantic English poet called William Wordsworth. And he was so sad that industry is coming and humanity will lose its values in life. So he wrote a poem, The World is Too Much With Us. I'll give you 4 lines. Rest, this boy will go home and read. Alvana? ಏನು ಹೆಸರು? ಹೋಗಿ ಮನೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಓದ್ತೀಯ ಇದು ಪದ? The world is too much with us. The world is too much with us, late and soon. Getting and spending, we seem to have lost our purse. Little do we see in nature that's ours. We have sold our soul to the devil, a sordid boon. What a beautiful poem. When was it written? 1802. And see today, the whole world is spoiled because of money. Now our Manish Agarwalji has written something here. Alternate therapies do not work against science, but against what is known to us as science. What a beautiful thought, Manish. How did you think of this? You know what is taught to you in science in the school and college? Did you know that? You didn't know. Atom has got a nucleus inside. Electrons are running in circles out and in and in and in. Really, there is nothing inside an atom. The atom is absolutely empty. 1910, 3 physicists came from Cambridge to India to become sannyasis, to go to the Himalayas. Annie Besant, her boyfriend Charles Leadbeater, and their senior Babington. Now these 3 became, they wanted to go to the Himalayas. They spent about 10 years in Himalayas and they became real sannyasis. They become yogic siddhis. Annie Besant has written a little book called Occult Chemistry, where she writes, I quote, When I get into samadhi state, I seem to develop a third eye, like the eyepiece of a microscope, and I can see the inside of atoms, from hydrogen to helium, 9 elements. And what I see inside is there is nothing inside the atom. When did she write? 1910. This book was published in 1920 in Madras by the Oxford University Press. You can get a copy. It's just a small, thin book. And you will be shocked to know that this lady, a physicist, should have written that atom as running things which you are taught even today in your physics class in PUC. Nothing there. Of course, the story is then Annie Besant stayed on and she started the Congress party and got us into a lot of trouble. That's a different story. But the Charles Leadbeater went back. They didn't marry each other and Babington went back. But what I'm trying to tell you is the whole of science that you and I are taught is a big fraud on the public. Science is something to frighten the colonists. I'll give you a nice book, again a small book. Please read, those who are interested. Science is called The Golem, T-H-E, Golem, G-O-L-E-M. That's the book's name, The Golem. Any Malayalis here? Hey, Anup, Golem and Varjendra. Golem and Varjendra. See, Malayalam and Hebrew are almost same. This Golem is a Hebrew word, not English word. It's a scarecrow. When you build a big building, Rangswami, you put that scarecrow. Drishti. So, just to frighten you, saying that, science, so anything non-science is bad, science is good. So, we all, we are slaves of the West. So, we said, science. Just now, a lady was sitting with me here. She is a very big doctor in America. She was. She left all that and she came here to say, my country needs my services. I have to teach them correct medical science. I must do research. She gave up her job in Stanford University. That little kid that is sitting there with Sari there. And she came here and joined a big institute here. Karthikeyanji was telling me, you go and see that institute. They are doing great work. This girl came to tell me that she joined and she had an assignment and she said, I am going to do some research on Ayurveda. Do you know what her director gave her a notice? Do not do anything unscientific called Ayurveda within the premises of this institute. Can you believe that? Who is saying that? Director of a government big institute here, which even our Director General of the CBI thinks is a great institute.